Hey guys, so if you've been watching any YouTube videos lately on the Wrangler JL, you've noticed that it seems like everybody's doing videos on the 5 things they hate about the Wrangler. I've only got one thing that I hate about the Wrangler JL, but I'm going to give you a quick review and let you know how my time has been with the Wrangler anyhow, okay? So let's get right to it. So this is not Jeep's fault, but one of the things I dislike is that when I have the doors and the top off, my wife's cat, or cats, plural, like to get inside the Jeep and sleep all night. So, oh well, that's easily rectified because what I do is I just lay towels on the seats because I know they're going to get in there, and then the next day I just pull the towels out and go. Not a big deal. Anyway, so the Wrangler JL. The one thing that I hate about it is the auto park feature, and you've heard me bitch and complain about that before, but I just can't stand that feature. I mean, for a vehicle like this especially, where you're spending time at slow speed and getting in and out a lot and backing up to trailers or boats or jet skis or whatever, man, I mean, it's just a pain. That auto park feature is such a pain. I mean, it's a classic case of a couple of people who didn't even have Wranglers. They had Grand Cherokees, I think it was. They didn't properly secure their vehicle. The vehicle rolled away. And so because of that, millions of us now have to put up with this ridiculous feature called auto park on our Wranglers. It's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. And from my experience, you've seen some of my other videos, the tuners that are available, like the Taser, the Flash Cow, so forth and so on, that claim that they can disable that feature, it's not 100% guaranteed that it's going to work for you guys. This one is weird because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I've heard a lot of people say it works for them all the time, and some people say it doesn't ever work for them. So disabling the auto park feature with the tuner doesn't seem to be a 100% hit, unfortunately, because I just hate that feature. But other than that, I don't have anything about this Jeep that I hate. I do have a couple of dislikes, and I'm going to go over a couple of those things right now. But first of all, let's just talk about how my time has been with the Wrangler. I've got just shy of 6,000 miles on it now. I bought it back in mid-April. It's now mid-September. I almost said July. Goodness. It's mid-September now, so I've had it for several months, put almost 6,000 miles on it. I already had one service appointment. This Jeep has been absolutely flawless, and you always wonder about the first model year of a vehicle, particularly when it's Fiat Chrysler automobiles, because they haven't been able to successfully launch a vehicle in the last several years. Everything's been a train wreck, seems like. Lots of recalls, lots of issues. I'm happy to report that this one has not had any issues. It did have a recall for something that didn't even affect me. It had something to do with the cruise control. I think it was the U62 recall, kind of a proactive thing that they did. That was no big deal. And the positive thing about that was while I was in there getting that performed, they flashed the PCM, which cured the steering issue. Because that's the one thing that did kind of bother me, is the steering was all over the place. You had to do this constantly just to keep a straight line. I've had plenty of Jeeps with solid axles, and I knew that that was not normal. And I also knew that Jeep would eventually address the issue. And they did with that software patch. Well, I don't even know if they purposefully patched it, but when they uploaded the software, it automatically recalibrated this Jeep for its VIN number. So the steering calibrations were updated, and that fixed the steering issue. That's the only issue that I've really had with the Jeep. The engine has been flawless, no leaks, no issues, no ticking. It has run perfectly. It gets excellent fuel economy. With the lift and the tires on here, I'm still getting 18.5, 19 miles per gallon, and that's a mix of city and highway. With the stock wheels and tires on there, I can easily get low 20s, 22, 23, 24, somewhere in that ballpark. I even saw 27 once on a pure 100% highway trip on the stock wheels and tires. So the fuel economy is awesome. I really like that Pentastar engine. I do wish it had a little bit more torque, but I guess you can't have it all, right? The 8-speed automatic transmission has also been really, really good and hasn't given me any trouble. The axles, no whining, no noises, work great. I'm not a big fan of having the disconnect in the front end, but it seems to be working okay so far. I mean, I just don't have any trouble with it. This Jeep doesn't leak. First Wrangler I've ever owned that doesn't leak. I guess I should knock on wood because now it's probably going to leak, but it hasn't leaked yet. I've had the freedom panels off a few times and it still doesn't leak. I mean, it's just been a really good Jeep. I have no trouble with it. I get in it every day, start it and drive it to work. I drive it to camping trips and whatever, and pull the trailer with it. I've got a utility trailer over there. I've been hauling mulch and things with it, lawn equipment, you name it. I do pretty much everything with this Jeep, and it's just been really, really flawless so far. So as far as the quality is concerned, I'm happy with it. You know, as far as the dependability and the reliability of it, very happy. No complaints there whatsoever. Now, the UConnect got a update also. They had to do this one. I think the 8.4 can be updated over the air, but this one's a 7-inch screen, so apparently you can't do that. But the dealership used their scan tool or whatever and updated that once for me. So I guess that was kind of a proactive thing too. So anyway, no problems there. You can see I've got 5,933 miles on here now. If I can get the camera to focus there. Really the only dislike I have in here is just the way that they shaved off the hip and shoulder room. And I've complained about this before in the initial review. I've gotten a little bit used to it, but see how my knee hits the transfer case shifter? This was never an issue in the JK. I sat in a JK, again, just to refresh my memory from the last time I owned one. And the difference, I think, is that in the JK, the console is lower and things are farther forward. So like the transfer case shifter, for example, was lower and farther forward. Same thing with the transmission shifter. And so it gets everything out of your way, so you have plenty of right leg room. In the JL, they raised everything up and brought it backward, and so now it's in the way. I have no room to move my leg around. And plus, maybe this is because of the 8-speed auto, but the hump for the transmission is larger, it seems like. So now I have no flat place down there to put my foot either. So this right leg gets really tired on trips. And on the JK, that was never the case. Over here on the other side, you're up against the door panel. That's kind of the way it is with Wranglers because of the way they're shaped. But I just don't really like the seating position. Also, you can see the seat cushion. I'm about 6'3", and it hits me about halfway down my thigh here. I really would like to see the seat cushion a little bit deeper. That would make it a whole lot more comfortable. Not only that, but the seat cushion is flat, and there's no adjustment for it, to tilt it. You can slide the seat forward and backward, but you can't tilt the cushion to support the back of your legs either. So I don't know what they were doing when they designed this thing. I guess they had women and children in the driver's seat when they were modeling, designing this thing. I'm not sure why they made it smaller and less comfortable than the outgoing model. That's kind of ridiculous. The headroom is a big deal. You can see how close it is to my head. I'm not even a real tall guy. I mean, the guys that are 6'5", 6'6", I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're just not driving these things. But I really wish that they would have spent more time testing these with men driving them. But as far as the interior goes, that's really my only dislike about this thing. It's not bad. I've got the seat all the way down. I'm used to it now. I'm living with it. But everything else is pretty good. I mean, the actual material they use for the seats isn't bad. It seems to clean up pretty easy. I don't have any problems with it. My son rides back there in the back all the time. He doesn't have any complaints. I like the new feature with the, I'm still really liking how they did the hard top panels here, because you don't have those things in the back where you have to unscrew them anymore. You just got the levers here you can flip open real easily. And so I do still enjoy that. But I mean, life with the Wrangler's been pretty good so far. I really don't have a lot to complain about. It's, if you have specific needs, like the people that rock bash these things, some of the other folks that have special interests, maybe these Jeeps aren't going to completely meet your needs, and there's some things you could complain about. But overall, for the average user, I don't think you can go wrong with these. And if they improve them even more for the 2019 model year, this is probably going to be just one of the most solid Jeeps they've ever made. I really, really enjoy it. So that's just a little review there. I had one service interval done just about 2 weeks ago when I crossed the 5,000 mile mark. One thing I will mention is that this new updated Pentastar engine takes 5 quarts of oil. The outgoing engine that was in the JK was 6 quarts. Some specs will show you 6.5. Most people just go with 6 quarts. So when you go to the dealership to have this thing serviced, make sure you remind your service technician that this is not the same engine that's in the JK. This is the PUG, which stands for Pentastar Upgrade engine, and it needs 5 quarts of oil. Make sure you remind them about that, because they put 6 or 6.5 in this one and overfilled the crankcase. It was way above the max mark on the dipstick, and I had to get that corrected. So make sure you pay attention to that. I'm sure they will catch up, and the service advisors will learn about that kind of stuff as we go forward here. This is still kind of new. These things have been out for 9 or 10 months, so it's still kind of new to them. The tires are still doing good. The KO2s are quiet. They're wearing well. Good traction, no problems there. I do have some rock dings on the side from the rocks coming out, but I mean, it's just one of those things that comes with the territory. So anyway, not going to make this video any longer. I just wanted to let you know that I have had good luck with this Jeep, lots of success with it. I know there's a lot of horror stories out there about these JLs, and especially being the first model year, but they're not all bad, guys. They're not all bad at all, and I don't want you to not buy one because you're afraid of the quality. The quality on this thing is really, really good, and if you press your dealership, if you have some issues and you press your dealership, they will usually take care of you and help you out in a lot of cases. So if you got any questions, let me know, and maybe another year from now we'll do another update and let you know how it's doing once we really start to rack up some miles on this thing. All right, you guys have a great day. Take care.